Com.
He's the former president and publisher of the Sun Herald, and now he's on the radio. Welcome to Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome to Coast Vue, the show that celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi, and Mississippi, for that matter, a great place to live, work, and play. Look, today is a continuation of the days of gratitude that we had last Thursday and Friday here on SuperTalk. It's an opportunity to celebrate people, volunteers, who are working so hard to fill those gaps. And I talk about it almost, it seems like every day on Coast Vue, but the 1,000 points of light, those people who are just going beyond the call of duty to help others in the community. The pandemic has gave many people who fit that description an opportunity to kind of step up and provide a service to the community. People like Brian and Marie Sanderson, who we'll have here in just a second. But I want to tell you a little bit about what they did. They developed what is called the Mississippi 30-Day Fund. It's a nonprofit that was focused on helping giving forgivable loans to Mississippi-based businesses. These forgivable loans were really important because at a time of really significant financial need for small businesses, as they were reopening and trying to understand how to navigate the realities, both the social and economic realities of the pandemic, they needed help. And what this fund did, the Mississippi 30-Day Fund, is provide that assistance. Brian and Marie actually live in Ocean Springs, and they've been on the show, 3 or 4 times over the past year. They're entrepreneurs. They've done work all over the country. They've worked in both the private and the public sector. They're involved in multiple businesses. And I say this, I've said this many times on this show, but the 30-Day Fund sort of personifies what it means to leverage your relationships, the relationships you've gained over many years, for the betterment of meeting a community need, in this case, a need for Mississippi during the pandemic. They essentially believe in that whole concept, the principle of paying it forward. I should also point out, as it relates to the 30-Day Fund, one of the important things they did, one of the really powerful things they did, is they created a scenario where all administrative costs were going to be handled by themselves or volunteers, so that 100% of the contributions that come into the Mississippi 30-Day Fund would go back out to the small businesses. I was humbled and honored to be a member of the advisory committee, and it was an easy thing to do because I believe in what they're doing so much, and they are definitely one of the many 1,000 points of light that we have an opportunity to have here in Mississippi. So without any further ado, let me bring Brian and Marie Sanderson, and just say, first of all, good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good morning, Ricky. It's good to be with you.
Good morning. It's good. We have some really, really special guests that we're going to introduce in just a few minutes. But how are you doing? Is life beginning to find its new normal for you? Tell me a bit about it. Let's start with you, Marie. What's the latest in your world?
Well, we're still working and still Zooming, like everyone else in the country, learning to work from my den as opposed to an office. But we've been really lucky, I'd say, compared to some of the friends across the country. Our businesses have been able to reopen. Our schools have been open. And so, our children have had as much of a normal life as possible. We actually got COVID. So we got COVID and survived COVID, just like a lot of our recipients had. And so we've been like most families at this uncertain time. It's been a year with a lot of memories, some of which I can't even remember 2 weeks back, let alone 6 months back, about what we've been through this year.
Yeah, it's been an amazing. It's hard to even kind of comprehend that it's been over a year now that we've dealt with this. Mm-hmm. Brian, tell me about your world these days.
Yeah, so much like Marie's, obviously, starting to travel a little bit more for work, certainly not to the levels we were before. But, it's just, as everyone has experienced, it's been an odd year. You didn't have the normal cadence of a year of certain milestones that you do every year because you couldn't do those normal things. So that's been odd, but, we're grateful for our health and our communities and the wonderful support of everyone coming together and pulling through.
Well, we'll get to the number of businesses you guys were able to help, and we actually have a couple, three specifically, that will be joining us here in just a second. But one of the highlights of Coast Vue this past year was the opportunity the two of you and I had to have four governors on Coast Vue simultaneously. Governors Musgrove, Mavis, Barber, and Bryant, all on at the same time talking about the Mississippi 30-Day Fund. They're honorary board members or advisory board members, and seeing their commitment to doing what they could to help this effort be successful was a real testament to the fact that you guys have been able to sort of cross party lines and make this sort of a non-political effort, really focused on doing just the right thing. But that was a highlight, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It was a memory I'll never forget, having them all, and you're interviewing them. It was very special.
And yeah, a lesson you and I and Marie all learned after Hurricane Katrina of, party lines didn't matter, and of folks coming together to get the job done and help their neighbors.
Yeah, there's gosh, man, what a wonderful statement. And really it's in this moment we get an opportunity to say why we're so grateful. There's a lot to be grateful for. So I said this on my show last week, but gratitude can be described as realizing that what you have is enough. Too many people, they want so much more, but they don't realize that. That's something we learned after Katrina, that buildings don't make a community, the people do. And when you have a moment like COVID, you get a chance to be reminded that family and friends and maybe business associates, but those people around us are the most important thing. Certainly we've all had this opportunity to see that. Why don't we bring our guests in and introduce them, and then we're going to have a kind of a free-for-all conversation, which I'm really looking forward to. We have Marilee Furr from Miner's Toy Store. She's from Ocean Springs, but she's actually in Colorado as we speak. Marilee, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you, and so happy to be able to join you all from a distance. We're getting to visit our family member that we haven't seen in 18 months, and so thank you all for letting me be a part of today.
Yeah, no doubt, and we're honored to have you. I want to introduce Frances Smith. She owns with her son Patrick's restaurant in Ocean Springs. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, it's good to have you. You have a beautiful smile, incidentally, for people who are watching on the radio or listening on the radio.
Thank you.
And then I want to introduce Jean Johnson and Brittany. Brittany, I didn't write your last name down. What's your last name?
Johnson also.
Okay. Okay. So there you go. That's easy. They are with J&W Smokehouse in Cleveland, Mississippi, and I've really enjoyed. We always get an opportunity to visit before the show starts, and I've been enjoying getting to know Jean and Brittany and the rest of these wonderful people before the show started. So why don't we do this? Let's start. We'll start with the two that I just introduced, Jean and Brittany Johnson at J&W Smokehouse. What is it you guys do? Tell me about your business.
All right, so we have a smokehouse located here in Cleveland, Mississippi, in the Mississippi Delta. And it was started by two friends. They used to barbecue for like the local football teams on Friday nights. And eventually they decided to open a restaurant, and they make their barbecues from recipes of 3 generations. So it's passed down to the family.
Oh, that's cool. So Jean, you've been a part of this from the very beginning, huh?
Yes, my husband, his friends started, like she said, barbecuing for friends and stuff. And they said, we need to put this on the market. So they went out and started a restaurant. And now we're getting our children involved in it so they can take over.
Wow. That's great. Look, I have a place up in the Delta outside of Greenwood. And then we have some hunting ground over in Chula, and we have some hunting ground over in Mentor City. And I love the Delta. I spend as much time there as I possibly can.
Well, you have to stop by and visit us one of those weekends you're up.
I would love to. It would be a pleasure. We'll come back to you guys in just a minute. So let's come over to Frances. Frances, tell me about Patrick's.
Well, Patrick is a family business as well. My mom, Jocelyn Mayfield, she had the restaurant for 40 years. Her and my dad started off at Trilby's restaurant in Ocean Springs as managers and chefs. After Mom had the 6 kids, and they got us the last sibling out of college. She told my dad, she said, I gave you what you wished, children, and now I want my own restaurant. So they took the little pink house, we call it, and it is 100 years old plus. And my dad and some of his friends that were plumbers, electricians, and all of that built it to code back in 40 years ago. And Mom opened up her restaurant called Jocelyn's. After having the restaurant, Dad passed away about 11 years ago, and Mom just recently passed away in October of last year during the COVID. So it's been a rough year for us.
God bless you. Yeah.
Thank you. So we reopened the restaurant. Patrick and I reopened the restaurant 3 years. It'll be 3 years in August. And
so let's do this. I don't want to cut you off, but Frances, when we come back, I'll let you finish that. Yeah. And then we'll move over to Marilee Fur and have her tell us about Miner's Toy Store. But
okay.
These are wonderful people who have been part of the Mississippi 30-Day Fund, and we're going to talk about how it enabled them in ways that they needed during the pandemic. We'll be back after this break.
Listen live or on demand and watch episodes of Coast Vue on your laptop, desktop, or on your phone or tablet by going to supertalkmsgulfcoast.com.
Hey South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visit.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. We're talking about the Mississippi 30-Day Fund. We have Brian and Marie Sanderson with us, and we also have three people who have benefited from the fund that we're having conversations with. Mary Lee Furr from Miner's Toy Store in Ocean Springs. She's actually in Colorado. Jean and Brittany Johnson from J&W Smokehouse in Cleveland in the heart of the Mississippi Delta. And Francine Smith of Patrick's. I keep saying Francis. I told her I had to take some medicine. We'll come back on the air. It says Francine. I saw Francis and I messed that up, but I apologize for messing your name up, Francine. But anyway, come back to you. You were just, I want to make sure you complete your story. So your son and you take it from there.
We took it over. Mom had the restaurant closed for about 3 years. She was aging. She passed away at 89 last year. So kind of give you an idea how long she stayed in the business. We lost all the grandfather protection from the restaurant because it closed. So we had to do complete renovations, meet code. It was a $50,000 venture to get that restaurant up and going. But I promised my mom that we would keep her legacy going. So I was determined to do whatever I needed to do to make that happen. So we did. We got it open in August of 2018. We had a good year to start. The following year was going great. We were looking forward to year 2, and the COVID hit.
Yeah. Well, Francis, here's the interesting thing. And I think about this all the time, that to be an entrepreneur, to be a small business person, you have to have a passion. Yes. Without the passion, you probably wouldn't do it because it's hard. It's not easy. And then you add to that COVID, especially being in the restaurant business. It just adds a whole nother layer. And then, of course, you had your issue of updating. But we'll come back to you in just a minute, Francine, and we'll continue that conversation. Mary Lee Furr, tell me about your business.
Well, I'm the owner of Miner's Toy Store in Ocean Springs, and my parents started the store 35 years ago. And similar to Francine and the other guests, there's just so much passion and so much family legacy and family heart and soul involved in this little business. When the COVID came, my parents had just passed away a couple years prior to that at 92. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot lose the toy store because of this COVID-19 situation. And I talked with my family. I'm like, we just have to do whatever it takes. And so I felt that same drive to we drove around, we drove toys to deliver them. We did whatever it took. And when it was just a hard, scary time. And we had to make that decision to do whatever we could to persevere for our neighborhood and for our community and our families.
Yeah, Mary Lee, of course, that's such an institution there in Ocean Springs, and we all know it so well over the many, many years. And it's wonderful that you're continuing that legacy. But it's true of Francine. It's true of Jean and Brittany. This family connection, there's something about that legacy. You just want to kind of keep it going. And that describes a lot of Mississippi businesses. Hey, let's come back to Marie and Brian for just a second. And I'll be back to each one of you here shortly. How many businesses were ultimately helped by the Mississippi 30-Day Fund?
So today we have approximately 135 businesses that have received help. They're all sorts of businesses from every corner of the state, larger cities, smaller cities. So we've been really pleased with the it mirrors the great fabric of small businesses in our state.
So, Marie, tell me real quick what the status of the Mississippi 30-Day Fund is today, so that people can understand sort of where you are in the process.
Sure. Well, the fund is still open, but we're running a pretty significant wait list. So we have shut down the application process as we raise the last amount of funds to pay for our pipeline. The initial purpose, 30-day fund, means 30 days. And I think it's just a testament to what 2020 was. We thought we'd be past COVID in August. So we said, we'll stand up a fund in June and we'll shut it down in August. It'll go for 30 days. It's also meant our $3,000 forgivable grants were not meant to save a business completely, but to give them 30 days to fight another day. So $3,000 will help a business for, 30 days. So we never meant to be open this long. We still are. We had people to help. And as long as we had money coming in, we were going to fund businesses. So right now we're raising a bit more money for our pipeline, and then we'll try to figure out what to do next as hopefully the economy begins to open again.
Wow, that's an incredible accomplishment, and I know the businesses are really, really happy that you put this fund together. So let's come back up to Jean and Brittany Johnson from J&W Smokehouse in Cleveland. And how did you learn about the fund?
I was searching the website and everything, trying to see what I can do to maintain my business in this pandemic, and the Mississippi 30-Day Fund came across, and I told my husband, I said, let's apply for this here. He said, we could take a chance, and that's below, it came through for us.
Yeah, good. See, people need to hear this, that if you're running a big business, you think about $3,000, you wonder how much difference that makes. But for a small business, $3,000 can be the difference between surviving and not surviving. Tell me how important this was to you guys.
Oh, well, for us, it was a big help because with the $3,000, we were able to pay our employees their payroll, who were continuing to come in through work when business got slow. And also we had a drive-through system, but it wasn't like the up-to-date one. So with that, we were also able to better our drive-through service. And when the restaurants closed, we were able to continue to keep our doors, open by using the drive-through system.
Yeah, well, that's good. Hey, I'm going to come through Cleveland one day because, by the way, you need to know this. Besides fish, barbecue is one of my favorite. I just love good barbecue. Who doesn't love good barbecue? Right. For goodness sake. Francine, tell me about, how did you learn about the 30-Day Fund, and then tell me about how it helps you.
I have an old family friend, Dr. Mason, from Biloxi, and he keeps his eyes on us. Loves my mom, loves the family. And whenever anything would come through, he would send a message to me and say, this is what I know, go for it. And so I completed the information, the application, and was, awarded $3,000 for the business.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that, and it made a difference, didn't it?
Oh yes. Well, when you think about, we're a startup restaurant.
Mm-hmm. It's like we might have had a little delay in that signal, but that's okay. When she comes back on, we'll let her finish her thought. So coming over to you, Mary Lee Furr, tell me about, how did you learn about the fund, the Mississippi 30-Day Fund, and tell me about how it made a difference for you.
Excuse me.
Please.
I learned about the fund. Oh.
Francine, we'll come back to you in just a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I learned about the fund from a good friend and customer at the toy store alerted me, and I saw it on Facebook as well right away. And I just was so thrilled because I had been just crying and struggling, trying to apply for a PPP, and the banks ran out of money, and I don't have a staff to do paperwork for me or anything. And so when this beautiful program came up, it was just right for me. It took like 15 minutes to apply and make the little video, which was part of the application, telling about my business. And then very quickly we got a response. And for me, that made all the difference in faith and optimism and hope. I already had a willing spirit, and I knew that, and a commitment. But what I needed is to know that other people also believed in me and believed in Miner's Toy Store and the value of it. And so that just bloomed. It just was 20-fold the effect psychologically and financially on the business for me.
Well, that's so good to hear, Mary Lee. And incidentally, Francine, we missed the very end of your thought, but we got the most of it. And for people who are doing Zoom calls today, they know this. For the radio audience, we had a little Wi-Fi delay on Francine's side, but hey, you just roll these days. You just keep going, man.
I understand, no problem.
That's kind of where we are. But coming back to Marie and Brian for a second, you hear these stories over and over again. And I remember when you and I, the two of you and I met early in the process, and then along the way, the further you got into the process, way beyond the initial thought of how long the fund was going to be here. And I remember specifically, Marie, you saying to me that we have to raise more money because you can't hear these stories and see these applications and not want to fit the need. It became much bigger than you expected it to, but you couldn't walk away from it. And it got in your soul, didn't it?
It did. When you hear the stories and you're only hearing 3 today, you want to do more, you want to help. We raise a lot of money, we're involved in our community, and who's the first person to step up when you have a school fundraiser or a nonprofit benefit? It's your small business. They donate the toy or give the gift certificates, and they are the fabric of the community. I think Marilee made a great point. It was hard for small businesses to get access to the government-funded programs. It took bandwidth, it took time, and so we really tried to have a process that was easy to complete, but allowed us to do our due diligence in order to get these dollars out as fast as we can. I think midway through the program in the fall, we had so many applicants we weren't able to move as quickly as we could, and obviously now we're running a wait list. But we felt like speed and certainty was really important for these small businesses who were doing this at night while they tried to keep their small business open during the day.
It's really remarkable. It really is. We're getting kind of near the end of this segment, but I wanted to tell you, first of all, what wonderful stories you guys tell. This has been Marilee Furr from Miners Tour Store, Francine Smith from Patrick's in Ocean Springs, Jean Johnson and Brittany from J&W Smokehouse in Cleveland, and then, of course, Brian and Marie Sanderson, who started the Mississippi 30-Day Fund. When we come back, I want to reflect for a minute about, even in these challenging moments, and Francine, I heard yours in particular. Yours is so challenging. I want to hear from you about what you're thankful about. What, there's always challenge and there's always adversity, but in these moments, it gives us an opportunity to say, wow, but my goodness, we have so much to be thankful for. That's what I want to talk about after we come back.
Subscribe for free to the Coast Vue podcast on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
Hey, South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show. Every day, we're driving the debate in America with the fastest moving, hardest hitting, most comprehensive, fact-based commentary on the radio. We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth. Our show is a meeting place of ideas. We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk, Mississippi. Whether you're brand new to the DIY craze or a seasoned veteran, the Handyman Show has something for you. Buddy Slowick shares tips and tricks on everything from odd jobs to complete build-outs, from small home repairs to serious construction. So no matter if you're at the master carpenter level or not quite sure how to use a level, the Handyman Show answers your questions with a healthy dose of humor and some great music too. Saturdays, 10 to noon on SuperTalk Mississippi and on SuperTalk TV.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi. He's the former president and publisher of the Sun Herald, and now he's on the radio. Welcome to Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. We're having a terrific conversation about the Mississippi 30-Day Fund that was developed by Marie and Brian Sanderson. And we have three special guests, or actually four, three special businesses, but four guests. Marilee Furr from Miner's Toy Store in Ocean Springs, Francine Smith from Patrick's Restaurant in Ocean Springs, and Jean Johnson and Brittany Johnson from J&W Smokehouse in Cleveland and up there in the Mississippi Delta. So let's come back to Marie and Brian for just a second. We're gonna talk to each of the businesses about what they have gratitude for in this moment. But as you guys have been all over the place. You've had so much success in your life. But when everything sort of got boiled away for a second and you were able to sort of sit there in the quietness of your own thoughts, what did you find the most gratitude in? Well, when you spend as much time with your family as everyone has had to do during COVID, I think you do realize how thankful you are for them, your health. But then going through this experience with the Mississippi 30-Day Fund has really impressed, I think, upon both of us that we do have a unique and special place here in Mississippi. We certainly feel that way in Ocean Springs every day, being able to go downtown and let the kids pick out some toys, more than we should, Marilee, but thankful that you're there, and go to Patrick's Restaurant, enjoy a wonderful meal. And I can't wait to get up to Cleveland and visit Jean and Brittany and eat some good barbecue. But it's really made us tremendously grateful for the uniqueness and just the real special places and businesses and people that make Mississippi a kind state. Yeah, Marie, what would you add to that?
The same. I mean, we funded businesses in almost every county in Mississippi. And we've gotten to know we have so many entrepreneurs in Mississippi, and small businesses is really who we are. And so we've enjoyed, while not physically being able to drive to all of our recipients currently, we hope that changes very soon. We've enjoyed talking to people from across the state. It's been a nice outlet. I mean, I think for us personally, and for me personally, it's been a hard year, but I will always treasure the time I've had at home. There's a lot of silver linings. We have a 3-year-old that I got to spend a lot of time time with. And if I had been keeping my normal schedule, I would have been gone once a week. And so there are a lot of special moments that we've tried to reflect on as we power through 2021 to hopefully some normalcy.
Yeah, I started writing a book of lessons right after Hurricane Katrina. There was this one powerful moment when my two sons and I were sitting out. I have a daughter too, but my two sons and I were sitting outside, and my son Justin looked at me as we were looking. No lights were on, and we were looking at the stars. And he said, "Dad, what is it about the hurricane that made God make the stars brighter?" And I said, "Well, we don't have all the interference of light. That's what it is." And I thought it hit me in that moment. I mean, I had a lot of moments like that after Hurricane Katrina, but I meant, holy mackerel, what a wonderful message, to think about this time I'm sitting here with my sons. I probably wouldn't have been sitting there with them, frankly. I'd been at some business meeting somewhere, who knows what. So let's come over to Brittany Johnson and Jean Johnson, and I want to commend Brittany. She's so bright. She's been masterful with her mute button, I've noticed, and I appreciate that. But Jean, you've seen so much, but in this moment that you are in now, what are you most grateful for?
I'm just grateful for that. Me and my family, and everybody else that is still in the world. Cause this the COVID have took a many people out. People I have known real close and stuff. And I'm very thankful for Maria and her organization to help us come through this pandemic.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And Brittany, what would you add to that?
Being in the pandemic, you realize a lot, especially being so young. But I would say it's having your health and your family to support you. And like my mom said, having Mr. and Mrs. Sanderson with Mississippi 30 Day Fund to help us continue to, help the community through what we love, making barbecue and, serving our community. And without that, it would be very hard to do that during this pandemic.
Thank you so much, Brittany. I know a lot of people feel that way, and that's such a wonderful thing to be able to say. Let's come to you next, Marilee Fur from Fur's Toy Store. As you think about the things that you're grateful for, you're actually there in Colorado visiting with family as we speak.
Yes.
It would be hard to not hear an answer from you that involves something that has to do with family.
I'm so grateful for my family, my parents that came before me that showed how to survive tough times in life, because that generation went through so much. And it was always like, okay, how are we going to get through this? And we get through everything. I'm so grateful for my immediate family, my husband, my children, and that we all were safe, that none of us even got sick during this entire thing. We're healthy. We worked hard at it. I'm thankful for my family in the community, all of the people like Brian and Marie. Oh my goodness, that have these brainstorms for you, Ricky, leaders that are positive. And then also for my toy store families. I drove all over delivering toys, and I saw where people lived. I drove to the farthest reaches, and children would write thank you notes and tape them on their doors and their windows for me for when I dropped off toys for them, because they needed to pick me up. The children needed to know everything was going to be okay, and a toy delivery in their world was a helpful thing. And so I'm so thankful for so much.
That is what so well said, and it involved the legacy of your parents, and even in that conversation. I mean, in the moment, I often think of my father and my mother. My mother's still alive, incidentally, and I get the opportunity to get her wisdom every day, which is incredible. But I think about my father. I even think of him as sort of this guardian angel, because so much of who I am today is what he gave to me, and I wish I could, thank him for that for sure. I think he's there to hear me thank him, actually, when I say that. So, yes. Francine, you did something that I've never seen before during this show. You switched from your computer to your phone.
Yes, I had to.
Did it seamlessly. So I really appreciate that. That was quite a feat that I watched just then. But anyway, you've had some difficult times, and I know you lost your mother last October, and in the midst of all of that, you still have gratitude.
Yes, I do. My mother, my father, what they instilled in us as children and as adults. They worked diligently. I mean, 24 hours a day to support 6 children, gave us all an opportunity to go to college, gave us an opportunity to say, if you don't want to do restaurant business, you have another career. Mm-hmm. So with Patrick had been with my mom and dad since he was born. They helped raise him. And he fell in love with the restaurant business. And he learned everything that my mom knew, everything my father knew. He used to make the trips with him to the produce companies and to the seafood markets. And my mom would touch the fish, okay? So he still does that to today. Everything that he learned from my mom is still there. So I'm grateful for her, and I'm grateful to see that embedded in him as a young man. I'm grateful to the Sandersons too, because without them, we wouldn't have made it. I can tell you that for a fact, with a startup business. And that money that we used it for, and I know a lot of people don't want to tell you how they used it, but I want to tell you how we used it. We needed it to convert our business to curbside. We had to change our menu. We had to upgrade and get everything to code for COVID. That money allowed us to be able to stay in existence until at least we were able to reopen the dining area. So I'm extremely grateful for the help, because it was the first financial support we were able to get, and we got it fast.
Francine, thank you so much for sharing that. That is so touching, your story. But it is so interesting how when we don't have the buzzing noise of the day all around us, if we just sit there in the quietness of our thoughts, there is so much to be thankful for. And Marie and Brian, as we come back to you, as we're winding down, it has to hit your heart to hear. I mean, you said this already to me, Marie. Again, you've been in communication with these people all along, but once again, to hear their thoughts about how important the Mississippi 30-Day Fund was to them, it has to make you proud.
Sure. We believed that we could provide a service. And by the way, we did not do this alone. I think it's appropriate to say that Ole Miss, Mississippi State loaned their law school students, their business school students. We had donors across the state that stepped up. And we got this idea from a successful entrepreneur in Virginia and felt like if they can do it in Virginia, we should do it in Mississippi. So we did not come up with this completely on our own or did it on our own. But I think it has been such a blessing to our family to have had a major role in helping other people, because I think Francine and Mary Lee and the Johnsons are the people of Mississippi who make our state very special. And we're glad to play a small role in their moving forward in a traditional way.
Well, thank you, Brian and Marie, for putting this meeting together today. And Mary Lee, Francine, excuse me, I started to say it again, Jean and Brittany, it has been an absolute pleasure to visit with all of you. And to Mary Lee, safe travels back to Ocean Springs. And good luck to you guys. I'll be over at Patrick's in no time. I will find my way to Cleveland. I'm going to have some of your barbecue. And I just had a new grandbaby born yesterday.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
For soon. So God bless all of you. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll be back after this break.
Thank you.
You can also listen live to SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on your Amazon Alexa devices. Once you've enabled the skill, just say, Alexa, open SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We are with the fabulous Norbert Putnam as he played on so many hit records, you can't count them, and produced for some of the biggest acts ever. Norbert, Elvis.
And I want to tell you about Presley. He had two different voices. He would sit and talk to me in a very calm, low voice. And we were at Stack's one night, and we were having lunch. We always had lunch at midnight because he was nocturnal. We sat there and we have our sandwiches, and at 1 o'clock, he looked up. He said, "Hey, Putt, come on, it's time for me to go beat Elvis." And he stood up, and a much deeper voice, he put on his macho voice. "Hey, fellas, it's 1 o'clock. Let's get cracking, okay?"
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, Amazon Alexa, and now on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
SuperTalk Mississippi, your new home for the Ben Shapiro Show.
We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth.
The most electrifying national talk show on air today.
We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Ben Shapiro, brutally breaking down the issues of the day.
From politics to pop culture, we take a look at all of it. So don't miss out.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi. Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to the final segment of Coast View. That was a terrific conversation with Marie and Brian Sanderson and their guests. I just really enjoyed that. Now we're going to shift gears and move over to my friend Bille Lavers, who's the Executive Director of the Harrison County Development Commission and a good friend of the show. How you doing, buddy?
Great. How are you, Ricky?
I'm doing good. Look, last time we talked, there was you had this really kind of exciting thing about to happen as it relates to 3D printing. And I was doing some reading about that. Futurist Jeremy Rifkin said that 3D printing signals the beginning of the third industrial revolution. But it's really that important, isn't it?
It is. It really is. So let's remind everybody to vote tomorrow. It's for all these elections across the coast, we've got choices to make, and we're thankful for that. And we've got a lot of passionate people running for a lot of offices. And that, these elected officials help keep the economic engine of the coast going. So before we jump into 3D, I wanted to remind everybody.
It's a great reminder. Thank you for doing that.
Because it's a local election, and they're just as important as the big ones, and actually probably more important if we want to get things done in our own neighborhoods. So please get out and vote, and don't vote twice. Just go do it. But just wanted to say that. So 3D printing. It's here, and it's one of those things like cell phones and computers. It changes all the time. So we had a unique experience to get. This is the only stop for the Stratasys 3D printing VIP tour in the state of Mississippi. So we're competing against cities, little cities like Charlotte, Tampa, Huntsville, Alabama, and we have double the registrations right now as we sit here today that any of those other cities do. So maybe because we brought in True Wings from the food truck from Ocean Springs, so we're going to have wings and tacos as bait to get people here. But part of why we want to do this is we want to just kind of open up the conversation, a lot like what you do on your show, about what the capabilities and the potential are. So these printers exist in our communities. They have them at Keesler, they have them at Stennis. A lot of the businesses might need a part, but they have to go, out of state in some cases. So we want to bring the technology here, have conversations about it. And my goal is that we may actually get one of these machines and form a co-op. So if a company needs to produce a small part or a small order of parts, we will facilitate that. And then they'll say, oh, well, we need one of those, and we need one of those more than before. And then they launch into their own version. But just having the technology available in the community and having this event where they can see, I mean, it's metal, it's they can print like an arm that's like, feels like, like a dummy, but you can practice giving vaccines. And I mean, just crazy stuff. You just don't.
It's incredible. I watched the YouTube video that you sent about the Stratasys, what their mobile tour is about, and there's it's not just one printer. They have several different approaches that they're taking, different kinds of materials. You're really focused on making sure you do it in a safe way. Obviously hand washing stations and social distancing and all of that. You guys are ready to do it in a way that people can feel safe, but really will give them a really good opportunity to see what companies like Stratasys can do.
And yeah, this is just one brand. It's like, a Chevy versus a Ford of the 3D printers. But to have this opportunity, and it's Eddie Hannibus out of Jackson, they weren't going to stop in Mississippi. And he's like, why not? And then he called me and I was like, heck yeah. So I'm going to take you to show you how we prepared. I'm going to give you a little cameo. I'm going to go long way.
Good.
Of your guest.
Bill is good about this. We actually have tested his Wi-Fi before. And hello there. How are you doing? Hey there, Shorty Sneed.
Seen him before.
We're rolling, and that's Shorty Sneed. We've done a Coast Vue session with Shorty before. Shorty is a member of the board there at the Harrison County Development Commission.
So, sorry, I ducked into a railroad meeting, which is another exciting project that we have underway. So the CEO of Rock Island Rail is here today, meeting with KCS and our customers.
Good. Pass along our...
Hey, you will see, going to be my most annoying thing that I've done since I got here. You will see that they're introducing the crossbars for when the train crosses Seaway Road. So now we're outside. And we've paved our parking lot.
Yes.
To prepare for the food. And a little windy, but I've talked to every pastor and priest that I could find, and we're going to have 75 degrees, 5-mile-an-hour wind, low humidity on Tuesday, April 6th from 12 to 5. What happens the rest of the day, don't care, but that's when our event is. So you can park in our parking lot. You can park on the truck and the trailer will be back here, kind of cordoned off. And we're really excited to host this event. It's actually going to be the first live event that we've done since COVID. So we hope you can come out for a little while maybe and check it out.
So we got less than a minute to go. So April the 6th, tell them the location again.
It's 12281 Intraplex Parkway, home of the Harrison County Development Commission. It's in our parking lot, right down the street from FedEx.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, right there off Seaway Road. So that's next Tuesday. Time again?
12 to 5. It's come and go, but we would like you to register at mscoast.org. But if you haven't done that, we can register you in the parking lot. And then because of COVID, they take 6 people through the tour at a time. But we're really excited, and thank you for helping us get out some extra, the last minute word, and
you bet.
Votes Tuesday as well.
Go vote. This has been Bille Lavers from the Harrison County Development Commission. Thank you very much, buddy.